The Los Angeles Lakers will not win another championship with Anthony Davis. There, I said it. They're facing the context that LeBron is nearly 40 and can't be the team's #1 option for the entirety of a season anymore. They need someone else who can put the Lake Show on their back and carry them to the promised land. That someone, they thought, was Anthony Davis this season. It was a no-brainer. AD is in his prime. He's one of the best defensive talents in the NBA and can score with some of the best bigs in the league. Of course, he should take the reins. But over the course of last season and through the playoffs when LeBron needed help, and so far this season, it just hasn't worked out that way. Welcome to NBA Swish, and this is the Anthony Davis problem. First is the glaring reason, the one that every talking head in sports likes to mention. Anthony Davis has never played a full 82 games. It sounds redundant, but it's true. Hell, he's never even cracked more than 75 in a season. And since joining the Lakers, he hasn't played more than 62. And that was the first year when they won a championship. We're now going on 4 years from then. Over his 11-season career, he's averaged just 60 games a season. And since joining the Lakers, that's dropped to just 48.5 games per season. Anthony Davis is barely averaging over half a season at this point. It would be an absolute miracle if Davis were to play even 60 games this season or any season moving forward. Which means if the Lakers want to aim for that 42-win, 6-8 seed, AD needs to win 2/3 of all the games he actually plays in. Want to take the top spot in the Western Conference? Davis would need to win practically every single game he plays in. And mind you, he is now 30 years old with an injury history more severe and more often since coming to LA. 30 years old to most players is when they're hitting or already in full stride of their primes. For Davis, every passing year, it feels like it becomes more and more precarious to put him out there 30+ minutes a game. It's like the old saying goes, sometimes the best ability is availability. And now, with LeBron approaching 40, LA is asking AD to take on more responsibility, more leadership, and probably most concerning, more time on the court. Another unfortunate caveat that follows Anthony Davis around is that although a terror at times, at others, he can almost completely disappear. In fact, AD turned into a ghost in the second half versus the Nuggets in the season opener. And by completely, I mean he scored 0 points in the second. Nothing. 17 in the first half, nothing in the second. Then AD had a decent game against the Bradley Beal-less Suns, and another decent game against the Kings. However, having just decent games netted the Lakers 1 win and 1 loss in those 2 games. If you look at Davis's stat line from those last 2 games, it looks impressive, but if you actually watch the games, you'd notice a real lack of offensive and defensive effort late in both games. Against the Suns, it was just enough to hold out for a win. Against the Kings, not so much. And it should be noted that Domantas Sabonis fouled out in the 4th, and De'Aaron Fox left in overtime with a turned ankle, the Kings' 2 best players, and AD and the Lakers still could not finish him off. Going 1-2 in a split with Western Conference playoff teams, some of which missing their star players, isn't encouraging. And I'm not including their home win against the Magic, their latest game as of writing this video, because they should beat the Magic at home. And Anthony Davis should look good against the Magic. And even in that one, they just barely beat them. The Lakers will have far easier matchups as the season go on, like that Magic game. But at some point, they're gonna have to step up and beat a team like the Nuggets or the Kings if they want any hope at winning another championship. You can't be the best if you can't beat the best. And AD disappearing against the best teams in the West isn't going to get you there. And this reason, I think, is the one that most hurts the Lakers in winning a championship with Anthony Davis, and it's not even really Anthony Davis's fault. If the Lakers want to seriously challenge for another title, Anthony Davis cannot be the Lakers' starting center. Uh-oh, start the angry typing in the comments. I hear ya. He's a shot-blocking machine. He is a rim-protecting god. But AD's best years were playing alongside DeMarcus Cousins at the center spot in New Orleans. This allowed AD to roam and play a more versatile style of defense. The Lakers don't have another big man to allow AD to roam. This leaves Davis on a defensive island when tasked with being glued to some of the more talented defensive bigs in the league. When Davis is stuck under the rim with guys like Jokic or Embiid, he can't be that roaming help-side monster he was in New Orleans. Some of his biggest strengths, his agility and reach, are mostly wasted just sitting under the the rim. He's going to get his 2 to 4 blocks a game, and that's big. But he could do more. The only fix the Lakers have for this, besides a trade, is to move Jackson Hayes or Christian Wood into the starting lineup at center, bench Jared Vanderbilt, and move Davis to the power forward spot. This, however, still leaves the problem of who is your true backup center. And although Christian Wood is officially in that role right now, he is somewhat undersized for the position and has shown inconsistency over the years. Or you're counting on Hayes to make that leap to being a starting caliber center on a championship team right now. No easy task. Aside from a trade, I just don't see the clear solution to Anthony Davis's woefully underutilized defensive ability. The Lakers through the first 4 games have shown a very lackluster defense, and I believe it's due to the defensive scheme. And just to be clear, Davis isn't the only culprit here. The entire Laker team is just not playing defense. But imagine the Lakers using Davis in the same way that the Bucks use Giannis. Both are extremely similar in size and defensive ability. However, one gets to play a more versatile style of defense due to having a solid big center, and the other one has to be that big center. And to be fair, even in this role, Davis has still averaged 2 blocks and a steal last season while being considered one of the best defensive players in the league, and is already right back to those averages so far this season. It's not that he isn't good at being the lone big man out there, but it doesn't feel like the best use of Anthony Davis at this point in his career. And unfortunately, I just don't see the Lakers wanting to move him around. And then there's the possibility that Davis's best days may be behind him. Not necessarily in skill or stats, but maybe he just can't be a number 1 option because the workload required to do so is too much. Anthony Davis was really good in 2020 when they won a championship in the bubble, but LeBron was still the number 1 then. In fact, Davis's best stats are still 2 years prior to that when he was still in New Orleans. And through all of this, I'm not trying to put it out there that Anthony Davis is washed up or bad by any means. He's not. But would you put Anthony Davis in the same tier as Giannis or Jokic? I don't think so. AD is still a premier talent in this league, and the Lakers team without him is worse off than a Lakers team with him. Who knows, maybe I am totally off base here. Maybe he can be that number 1 the Lakers and LeBron need him to be, but I think he needs to do so in a new role. And even still, it just might not be enough to win it all. No matter the case, it's clear the Lakers relying on Anthony Davis to be both their primary form of offense and defense night in and night out alongside an aging LeBron James just isn't going to work. And this is a win now team because time is ticking. It wouldn't surprise me if LeBron decided to become a free agent after next season to guarantee he can play wherever his son Bronny gets drafted, assuming he does get drafted. The Lakers then, seeing the writing on the wall that the championship window has all but closed, decide to rebuild by trading away Davis for picks. A player of Davis's stature will undoubtedly be traded to a contender, hopefully one with a solid defensive center and an obvious star at guard, allowing AD to return to form at a more natural roaming defensive position, something he thrived at in New Orleans. Imagine a surging team like the Oklahoma City Thunder giving up their future to win now. AD alongside SGA, Holmgren, and Giddey? Yes, please. The Thunder have 4 first-round picks in 2025, along with 4 first-round picks next year, and they could use those players they pick in a trade, as well as send youth and potential to the Lakers for AD. Or how about Minnesota trading away either the Big Cat or Rudy Gobert and some future picks to put Anthony Davis with Anthony Edwards? Or how about AD to Miami to go with Bam Adebayo and Jimmy Butler? There are plenty of opportunities for Anthony Davis, just none of them happen to be in Los Angeles. I think Anthony Davis is good. Actually, scratch that, he's elite. And I think he can win another championship. I just don't think it'll be in the City of Angels. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.